Hey guys, Pilot Master 72 here, bringing you 7 X-Plane plugins you must have. First is Visual Altimeter. I'm sure we've all experienced changing the barometer settings on your altimeter and just finding it difficult to read what your setting is, so this basically fixes that problem. With the plugin installed, when you change the barometer setting, a box automatically opens and disappears when you haven't used it in a while. It shows the altimeter setting as well as the QNH, which is the same thing but it's used in Europe. Another great feature is that it moves with the screen. Number 2 is the landing speed plugin. I really like this one. Basically, when you land, you usually have to judge how good it was yourself. You can see I'm coming in here, and it's not a good landing. That's easy, but sometimes you wonder if it was acceptable or good. So with this plugin, when you touch down, a little box will appear on the side that'll say how good it was, as well as give you some facts on how fast you came down. It can also be helpful to judge how good you are at landing strictly from the cockpit view, which as you can see I need a little work with. Number 3 is Simple Pushback. Now this is kind of an overlooked feature, but I think it's really helpful. Basically, it just pushes back your plane. There's no animation for it, but simply using the rudder and releasing the brakes, it'll push it back for you. Number 4 is Scenic Flyer. Now this is a really good one. Usually when you're flying VFR, sometimes you want to take a good look at the scenery, but it's hard to keep track of how your plane is flying. So with this plugin, a box appears at the bottom. You can also move it around. That basically shows all the necessary instruments. It shows your artificial horizon, altimeter, vertical speed, heading, turn coordinator, and airspeed. It can be really helpful when you want to watch the outside of the plane for the landing, but still want to keep a look on your airspeed. Number 5 is Checklister. This one really adds a lot of realism. When you open it up, it gives you a little checklist. I'm only going to go through the first one here, but it goes through so many. You just follow the instructions, checking everything. There's the flight controls, they're all working. If I'm not mistaken, Aero is airworthiness papers, which doesn't really matter in a flight simulator, so that's working. My fuel quantity I can see up there is good. My selector valve, I'll look down and change that. You'll notice that when I eventually get it onto the right place, the box automatically checks itself, and you can't check it unless it is in the right place. My avionics were already on, so I'll go to my beacon light. When I flip that on, as well as my nav lights, and my transponder was already set. So you can take a quick look through on all the different options they show. It starts from the pre-flight to the shutdown with everything in between, and they are made specifically for each plane. Number 6 is Cloud HD. Now this is a great one. So what you see right now is a default setting that I've set for something that has good frame rate on my computer, but it doesn't look all that good. So in the same scenario you're about to see is the exact same settings but with the plugin. Now you can already see the clouds look a lot better. No frame rate was really lost in this, and the clouds are whiter, puffier. They just look so good with this. I highly recommend the plugin. It really helps. I have noticed no loss in frame rate, and it's definitely one of the best cloud plugins out there. Last but not least is Airport Navigator. Now this one is great, but I think it also has some work to be done on it. When I open it up, you'll see a map of the airport. Now there'll be a little loss of frame rate here. I assure you that's not from the plugin, that is from the plane I'm using. Basically, this plugin is that this red arrow goes around the airport, which is your plane. It can show you exactly where your plane is, and it's a great feature. However, it doesn't show you the names of the taxiways that I haven't found that it can do that, and that's what's a killer for me. While I still really love it and highly suggest it, it can be a little troubling. So I'll cut to the takeoff here, and you'll see a really cool feature that's in it. So after I take off, get a little out of the airspace, I'll fast forward. When you get into another airspace or closer to another airport, it'll automatically switch maps if you've kept it up. You can also turn it off and back on during flight. I'll fast forward here again. And as soon as you enter the area for that airport, you'll see your arrow come on screen and you can track it again in that airport. Thanks for watching, guys. Please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. I will make another episode of this when I find more plugins. If you have any questions about any of the plugins here, feel free to PM me or to comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.